Good evening and welcome to the Brain Trust. Tonight, we have done the unthinkable. We have given Sophane one half of Poisoning the Well complete and total, utter control of the world for a full day. Nobody knows what he's going to do, and nobody knows it's him that's doing it, so that he has no fear of retaliation for his concoctions and desires. But without further ado, let's hear Sophane's King for a Day.
All right.
Sophane.
Okay. Look, I gave this some thought, and it's tough. It's tough because there's so many options, and the thing is, I feel like if you're making actions that are happening now, like right now, in this timeline, like we can't skip ahead to the future, and so you have to imagine what in the future your perfect utopia would be, what the because it's really hard to imagine that any actions you take right now, like if all of a sudden I could do anything, that any actions I took would lead to sudden world peace or universal egalitarianism. Like I just don't see that being the case. So what you have to do is start to try to behind the scenes start moving the world in the direction you want it to go. But man, like anything else, the butterfly effect can cause chaos. So it's one of those things where do you start? Where do you start? Now, as a Roddenberry socialist, which is what I like to see myself as, ultimately the purest civilization I'd like to see is kind of what Gene Roddenberry had envisioned for the human race in Star Trek. Their priorities and everything have worked to where the whole human race is pulling together, except for a few bad apples and all that. Yeah, those guys. But money really isn't a thing. It's the goals of the human race, and then ultimately, all of our allies as we go through the story. So, how do you start pushing towards that? We've already started making moves here in the present time that I think are going away from that. So, first thing is get rid of SpaceX. Demolish SpaceX. Take all the money, seize it, and stick it back into NASA. That's right. Return space, the journeys to space, to government control. That's the first thing. Then wipe out the tax brackets and go back to a very aggressive, progressive tax. Free healthcare, free college, and bulldoze the borders, except for the oceans. So I would allow there to be individual societies on each of the continents, each of the major continents. And you would have to count Europe and Asia and everything as one giant one. So
For the record, you're killing me here. I'm dying. But go on.
I know. Everything that you would hate is in my menu. Now, I try to think how, because as a capitalist, and one that's had his ups and downs at it, I certainly see the benefits and the cons of capitalism. That's one of the reasons why I was like, you can't just do a one world government. I just don't see it as being a thing, as being possible. Socialism, pure socialism, doesn't get you where you need to be, where you could just, there's no way I can figure out to get to where someone can just wake up and or be born and go through their education process and decide this is what I want to be or this is what I want to do. I don't see that being a realistic possibility because there still has to be a hierarchy in the levels of jobs and what we do. There have to be people who get told what to do or can't qualify or just aren't smart enough or fit enough to do certain jobs. That's tough. So that's why I thought you split it up. You have socialist continents and you have capitalist continents. Now, the problem is still, even in capitalism, there's just people who aren't fit enough or aren't right to do certain things. I can't find a way to make it to where people still have their own free will and yet are able to choose what they'd like to do. I saw something recently that they had done at someone, and I can't remember who it is, and it sucks, had done a survey of kids and asked them, this is recently, what career they would like to do when they grow up. And when I was younger, man, it was a lot. And actually, because I was born in the space age before we stopped going to space, I like astronaut and then there's the classics, the fireman and the doctor and the policeman and those kind of things actually existed. Now, I believe it was upwards of 70% of kids wanted to do the same thing. And it's probably the worst thing to imagine a healthy future society being built upon. And that was YouTuber. 70% of kids said they want to grow up and be YouTubers.
I'm sorry.
That is nightmarish. That is a nightmare.
I can't imagine what kind of future what path we're on right now. But it can't be good. It can't be good. And how do you like create a world where we can do what we're doing right now? Like we can sit around on YouTube and have a chat about pure fantasy. How do you do that but still have a productive society? I can only think of one thing, and that is to outright strip YouTube of monetization again and return it to its original form. God, I hate that we have to do that, kids, but you can't be trusted to fucking not choose to be a YouTuber. 7 out of fucking 10 of you think this isn't healthy. These people, we're not okay.
Yeah, we're not normal people. Just for the record, none of us are normal people.
No.
I've met Fane and a big group of YouTubers. None of them is normal.
No.
And it suddenly made me realize I'm not normal either.
Yes. One of us. So, man, you have to decimate social media and the monetization of it.
I fully agree with you. I actually don't monetize my channel, and it gives me so much freedom, and it actually is a hobby. It makes me love my job.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's a hobby for Pat and I too, and we do monetize, and we just continually take any money that comes in, and we set up an LLC because I'm a capitalist. I hate it. I hate myself, but I am. Made an LLC, dump everything in there so it can pay its own taxes. It doesn't pay anything out to Pat and I, but it does buy equipment and gear and fun new toys, and enables us to go to Knoxville to see Andy Worski.
So your company just basically supplies you with your hobby.
Yes,
it
funds
does itself. Yeah, that's brilliant. Right. That's absolutely
and then
brilliant.
It's going to pay its own taxes here soon. I got to send it off to the CPA to get its taxes done.
All right, back to King for a day. So, what is your actual what goals? You're saying split the countries, half socialist, half capitalist.
Yeah.
Which I know where I'm living, but
Yes, I know where you're living.
so I'll send you a Christmas card.
You got to
every
have
year.
one continent, at least, that ends up in some fucked up dystopian future, and you can't. I don't know. You can get there without capitalism. So, I've chosen that for you. I've chosen that for you. It's for you, Dolphin. You can go there and hatch all your evil plots and keep the plebs under your foot. But the thing is, how do you get to a Roddenberry socialism? How do you get there and still have the push that capitalism delivers?
Well, we're a brainstorming session, so you asked that, and this thought came into my head that the one thing that Star Trek had, that the people in Star Trek had, that just, I mean, beyond the transporter, beyond photons, beyond space travel, beyond all of that, the one thing that they had that allowed them to just really inspect their own desires, their own inner.
There's actually two things, I think, but I think I know where you're going, so you could list the first one.
The replicator.
Okay, and that was actually my first one as well. The replicator.
All right, what's your second one?
The holodeck.
Oh, dude, I was drinking. Wow. Okay, so that, you know what? I was going to argue, and I spent about 20 seconds thinking. I'm not going to argue. No, go on.
Because the thing is,
no, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant observation.
If you have that technology, anyone can do anything. I mean, we've all seen Picard with sailing his ship, on the oceans or whatever, and it's just a holodeck. But the thing is, if that was available to everyone, then even if your day job was something fucking menial, you knew that when you came home at night, you could be a swashbuckling pirate or a rock star on the stage or do whatever you like. And it would seem real. And you could have that. And I think that may help people who just don't qualify, which I hate, don't qualify, because I am one. I'm not a physicist. We need, we need those certain people to have those certain jobs. And so I think the holodeck, it replaces a lot of things and removes, I believe, a lot of cancer from the world. For example, Hollywood. I think you could really remove some of the cancer that comes from stars. And not just, I'm saying, our current set of stars or whatever, or actors or actresses. I meant the feeling that we all have that's innate inside of us as we're growing up, and when we're singing in the car to our favorite band, or thinking about a badass movie, when we're with that thing that, man, we're all unique, special snowflakes. And if we were just seen, if somebody just noticed how special and different we were, that surely we would be swept away to stardom, to fame and fortune and the adulation of millions. Adoration. We could all have it. And I believe that that's part of the problem that has 7 out of 10 children wanting to be YouTubers. What the fuck, kids? But I think that desire, that thinking that, man, I'm really not like everyone else. I'm special. No, we're all the same. Stop it. Very few of us are special. Just accept it so we can start doing work. But I think that the holodeck and the replicator, because the replicator is very fucking important, because it's much more practical every day, make your life better and make you feel like you've got the things in your life that you want or you need. If we could have those things, if those things could just exist, I think already problems start to go away.
Until then, I guess we'll just have to content ourselves with 1/5 of the United States legalizing recreational pot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the best we got.
After all that, the next step is basically just a Dyson sphere. So whatever.
You know what? I'll give you that point, Egg. You definitely earned that one. So I kind of want to get back to you. You have complete total. We discussed the rules. I don't think the audience knows the rules, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the rules real quick. The rules that we set for Sofane are that you cannot violate any laws of physics or reality, including creating more resources. But no one on hypothetical Earth knows that you are doing these things, that you're changing the whole world. So you don't have to worry about the retaliations. And the final one is you're not required to follow any law, moral code, standards, or practices as you are king, which is why I didn't freak out a lot more when you started talking about social, the S word. Anyway, my question for you, Sofane, would be, what exactly would you do with Hollywood? And feel free to go wild.
The thing is, like most other people, I have a love-hate relationship with Hollywood. And really the hate only comes from the fact that they never discovered that I was different and special. No one ever came along and saw me and whisked me away to stardom. So fuck you guys. You don't even know me. But the thing is, as when I was young, man, the impact that Hollywood had on me, especially, my generation, I'm a little older. The internet wasn't a thing until I was an adult, or it wasn't a thing that average people, we had, BBSs and stuff like that. But it wasn't until that sweet America Online floppy disk arrived that really the internet went to the masses. And then it was years after that until it became even a possibility that an internet celebrity could be a thing. So really, it was Hollywood that was what was my escape from my small rural life, on a farm in Northwest Florida. That was my escape. VHS tapes of sci-fi films, some of the worst stuff imaginable now. But stuff with these sweeping, optimistic futures like Star Trek, or these dystopian nightmares like Mad Max and The Road Warrior. These were the things that I wore these fucking tapes out because, man, I loved that someone could just, that these people in Hollywood made this thing that could just pluck me out of my pithy, small existence and whisk me away to where I could imagine that my life would matter on a much larger and more meaningful scale. And so what I would do with Hollywood now, I don't know, because I still love it. I still love it when a new Marvel film comes out. I still love it when Star Wars comes out. I don't care. Fuck all y'all. I watch them. I watch Star Wars just like I watched the first one. It can do no wrong. It can do no wrong. I like the prequels. Fucking figure that shit out. But what I would do with it now, that's the problem. In a capitalist society, it's fueled by money, and it's fueled by huge, huge dollars. And I'm not sure how to change it, because that bait, those dollars are what make studios chase a lot of the movies that I really enjoy, a lot of the creations that I really love about Hollywood. So I'm not sure how to change that now, other than in that I would like for us to move. Like if I could snap into existence things like, you know, the holodeck and a replicator, well, then I would snap that shit out of existence and tax the shit out of it and just fucking crush its soul, and put the money into people, into technology, into getting off this planet, into pushing into the stars instead of sucking their dicks.
The arts is useless, therefore technology.
I know. But look, when you give one drunk guy the power to do anything, and he's so fucked up, man, it's chaos.
This is why we chose you for our pilot king.
Yeah.
I'm just going to break things. I'm just going to break things. And the thing is, I'm going to break things I love. And I don't know why I do it. But I have to. And a lot of it is just because I've been spurned. And I'm lazy. Did I mention the lazy part? That a big portion of my resentment toward the arts comes from the fact that I was too lazy to actually write that great novel or take an acting class. So
you know, and it's a shame because you got a great amount of natural talent to work with there.
Well, thank you. I think that is delusional.
But yeah, I'm pretty trashed myself.
Oh,
right. All right, look, I need to go get some Boozahol in this class. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a moment to discuss the dystopian nightmare that we have been presented.
oh dear.
Oh, I was burning inside the whole time. Ugh. My heart hurt. But no,
So did he propose continental ethno states? Is that what I heard?
No, it wasn't. I don't think he said ethno state. Like, no, he actually said egalitarian. I'm pretty sure he doesn't really concern himself too terribly much.
Yeah, I was making.
So Egglord's question, Fane, is are you advocating what was it you said?
Continental ethno states. Is that what we're building here?
No, I did not hear the word. I'm gonna go ahead and back out on this one real slowly and carefully because I did not hear the word ethno. I didn't.
No.
Egg, we had a conversation about
We
this.
were doing good.
Words! Words! Remember words!
No, I believe I covered that when I said that I think the border should be bulldozed in North and South America. I'm the ethno part, no.
So where do I get to rule over my peons, dude? Come on.
That's the only way it's possible.
Massive continental state.
Hold on. So if there's no borders, then we're only going with natural
we're talking
borders.
More of a 1984 type of thing where there's three major governments.
I just get the island, right? I get my own island. I call that a capitalist.
We've always been at war with East Asia.
Yes, we've always been at war with East Asia. Prove me wrong. And the thing is, again, the thing that I want to destroy, Hollywood, has showed me all these possible dystopian futures. And we see socialist dystopian futures. We've seen those. 1984 is a good example of how everything can go to shit. And then we see capitalist dystopian futures where, again, everything can go to shit. I find that those outcomes are far more likely than the Star Trek outcome when we're just brave adventurers and And, you know, not only do we not see the differences between ourselves and our races, we even think like, hey, other like fucking aliens can ride on our spaceships. You can even be officers. What? I don't know how we get there.
Yeah, I think
Broken's place.
I think that's an interesting point because first of all,
See, that's why I like 40K.
I think alien interaction. Now hold on. I'm going to throw out a theory here because Sophane brought up an interesting point in my head. Alien interaction. When we reached them and the captain said, well, here's the thing. Our DNA would clash violently with theirs, and there is literally no way that you're probably ever going to be able to breed with them. So fuck away.
Yeah, I guess. As
do
long
you
as
do you see where I'm going with this?
We've got innies and outies. I don't know.
Yeah. See, at that point, all the boundaries disappear, and you don't even have to worry about birth control. And this is coming from a guy with 4 kids.
well, so I can see why you would imagine a world without birth control.
3 plus 1 more. No, all my children are planned.
Wow.
Really?
I wish I could say that.
Well, there we have it.
Sorry.
There we have it.
Sorry, I made some really good decisions.
That got dark really quick.
Really quick.
Dark.
It'll be years before they ever stumble upon this. And
no, I said all my children were planned. They were. That's
mine weren't.
Oh. Yeah, that got dark.
That got dark. Anyway.
Wow. I guess my narcissism is showing.
The true globalist society.
I don't know if there's any way around it. I don't know if there's any way around heading in that direction.
So let me clarify, and let me clarify real quick with you, because we may ask to have you back in on one of our other streams that we do about space travel. But so your focus is out into space, right? That's your goal?
Yes, I actually don't think there's any choice there.
No, I agree with you entirely, and like
we're in a rather precarious position.
I suddenly feel like I should move you from frenemy to, like something else. It's weird. I'm getting a little misty here, buddy.
Well, the thing is, the bigger picture, like when we sit and we fight amongst each other, over politics and things that really don't have the impact on our world that some of us think they do. Just like in 2008, I thought I was going to ride Barack Obama to this wonderful socialist future, and here I am all this time later, and not much has changed. George Bush, I thought he was going to destroy the world, and
he didn't.
Not much has changed. And so we sit here and we argue about and have these clashes over stupid fucking high school kids and old kind of
silly grievances,
bad actors, we think that these things mean so much, but really they don't. And as soon as we see an asteroid tumbling our way the size of the house that dropped on the witch in Wizard of Oz, then I think we go, oh shit. We probably should have prepared for this, because all our eggs are on this basket. All our baskets are on this one egg. And what I worry about is, the universe has been out there playing fucking. It's just been ramming things into each other for billions of fucking years. something is going to ram into us, and we need to start preparing to have somewhere to go or already be there. And that, I think, is far more important than a lot of the petty shit we fucking worry about now, and whether or not, the Star Wars prequels were the worst thing ever to happen to civilization.
Look, it definitely wasn't. Look, it was actually the third book in the Mockingjay series. But
oh my God, what piece of shit that was! You ruined.
Oh my God!
No, I feel like she just was like, I need to finish the series. I'm gonna force it out.
Phone it in. Come on,
Right?
editor.
Oh my God! Somebody at the publishing company needed to have called her on that.
Yeah, just like
that was nonsense.
they're like, or she was like, no, there's not gonna be a third book. They're like, motherfuck, there won't. We'll get in fucking China to fucking write the thing if you won't.
We used an algorithm.
We'll just shit all over them. Yeah, that's right.
We used an algorithm in your previous books, and we've written the final copy.
That's right. That's right.
We'll give you 90 cents per sell. My God, how to force a book out?
Mm-hmm. It was a real turd.
Yeah, it was. It was.
But it's okay because it became 2 turd movies.
I didn't even see them, but
I owned them and couldn't get through the first one. The second one has remained never clicked on in my digital collection. It just sits in my cloud, wasting gigabytes somewhere.
It's the virtual equivalent of a shrink wrapped DVD.
Exactly. I'm not even going to bother like hurting a fingernail trying to open the son of a bitch.
This is why you don't let Hollywood get a hold of things, or Hollyweird.
Yeah.
Sorry. Cali girl needs to call it Hollyweird.
Hey, Georgia, we've got a few great studios, and I got to give it to those Marvel studios.
Yeah.
Yes. I still want to call it Horja.
Horja.
So.
That's fair.
Horja.
That's fair enough.
I now live in Horja, so I can't say.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you up here in the northern part of the state with us?
Yeah, Callie's down the road from me, and you're down the road. I'm in between you two.
Oh.
Yep.
I got middleman position.
Nice.
Oh God.
Nice. Well, man, I came from Northwest Florida, like I said, from the farm, and I love it here. I love Atlanta. It is truly a blue island in a Red Sea, and there are 2 Georgias, and one is inside of 285, and the other one is fucking outside of it.
Yeah, guess where I live?
Outside of it, so do I.
Yep.
I used to live inside the perimeter. I used to live in Vining, so it's just inside the perimeter.
You know Seaboard?
Huh?
You know Seaboard by what is it? Little Five Points. What's that park by Little Five?
Oh, over there, Cabbagetown.
On the back side of the park, there's Seaboard Avenue. There used to be the MARTA station that's there.
Oh,
I used to live in those apartments.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really.
I lived there for a couple of years, and that was all I ever needed of the city.
Well, one of my first experiences in the city wasn't too far from there. When I went to a party at a prostitute's house, and that was the first time I ever did meth, and it was by accident. I thought that these people at it's this old house right off of Piedmont Park, and I thought that these people were like, hey man, they're partying a little bit or whatever. And somebody start passing this mirror around with some lines on it, and I'm like, oh, well, who's the cheap ass that's making these tiny little lines? Come on, I thought we were here to party. And so I was like, you know what? I'll do this. I'll snort one of these little lines here to be polite to the prostitute and her friends. And it burned to the center of my brain. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this Coke? I don't understand this city or what's happening. And then 2 days later, I figured out that that wasn't Coke. It wasn't Coke at all. That prostitute gave me methamphetamines, and I didn't even know it. That shit's crazy. But yeah, that was right down there. Same area.
Reason number 722A why I do not live in the city any longer.
Well, hey, I live in Hall County. No. I live in a hobbit hole.
Why are all of y'all from Georgia?
I'm not from Georgia. Hell no.
I'm a Texan.
I'm a Floridian. But I'm Northwest Floridian, so.
Oh, my dad always put a T at the end of that word.
Floridian.
I'm from the South. I'm from Southern California.
You're from Mexico.
True. I was born in Mexico, raised in Riverside. So, yeah.
Like the Baja side.
Yeah. I grew up in Houston, so I speak Spanish. Because everyone does.
Yeah, people thought that would be a thing when I moved here, and I would tell people I was from Florida, and they were like, "Oh man, so did you go to Miami a lot?" I'm like, "Bitch, I'm closer to Houston, Oklahoma City, and Dallas, Texas."
Really?
Pensacola is literally closer to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, we used to go there every year when I was a kid. We used to go to Pensacola Beach. That was a nice place.
Yep. Casino Beach by the beach ball water tower. Right across. Yep. I mean, I still go down there a couple times a year and see friends, and we'll go down to Casino Beach and hit the boardwalk there.
I don't really remember it all that well. I was pretty young and fairly drunk at the time.
Yeah. Well, I still go down there, but to me, like Atlanta is one of the
Mecca.
Few cities that has just the right mix of city and country. I love it when you go up to in the Vinings. You can go up on that hill there where they have the hotels. If you go up there and sit in a parking deck, you have this view just over the city, and it's nothing but trees with skyscrapers sticking out of it. And I just love that about Atlanta, that it's not just a concrete jungle. Now, under the trees is plenty of concrete and plenty of jungle, but from a higher altitude, it's a beautiful city, and I love it.
So, would you? So you're king for a day. Let me ask you this:
Yes,
you put more trees in every city.
I absolutely.
You have that. You have that power. You have that power.
In climates where that should be a thing, absolutely. Cities like Dallas, Texas, need to be remedied.
I love you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Dallas, Texas has a fucking concrete problem, and it needs some shade. I mean, I'm throwing a little shade at it, but what it needs is literal shade.
Can I vote that we just take out all the palm trees in California and actually put actual trees, please?
Palm trees are not real trees. They're not.
I never got to see them growing up. They're amazing. I love them.
Yeah, look, and I gotta
leave those where they are.
I gotta say, anybody who's been to Hawaii, which I think is probably the most beautiful place on earth, anybody's been to Hawaii can see the benefit of palm trees. I understand that they can be misused in Southern California, and the other supporting fauna that maybe would make it a little bit more of a thing. But man, Hawaii has made me a big fan of the palm trees. And what's funny is when I grew up on the farm, we had a palm tree shipped in to plant in the middle of our circular driveway at the house. We planted this palm tree that's still there to this fucking day, and I've always loved it. 45 minutes inland from the ocean on a farm with this giant palm tree. I loved it. I love it. I'm a big palm tree fan. Pine trees can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Growing up in Houston, here's the thing. If you're in Houston and there's like a massive elm, it's because it's been there for 200 years and the city got a permit to keep it from getting cut down.
Yeah.
There are no other elms. Everything else is pine. If you see a giant Arizona ash, It's because it's been there for 200 years. Like, that's it. There are only maybe a handful per square mile of hardwood trees. Everything else is pine.
Yeah,
and it's obnoxious.
That's Northwest Florida. It's got a lot of the same. I mean, and that a lot of scrub oak and stuff like that. Not a ton of the 200-year-old oaks and everything. It's mostly just pine trees, and they're boring and messy, sticky. I like to be sticky.
I say remove palm trees.
Pine makes good lumber. You could.
Pine makes great. Look,
you're king for the day. You could change the lumber regulations. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I will say that the court system needs an overhaul from top to fucking bottom. Judges, I wish you could shake into people. And let me tell you, anybody who happens to see this, let me give you one recommendation. No matter what your party is, when you go to the ballot box, always vote against an incumbent judge. I'd rather throw out a couple good apples because most of those barrels are fucking rotten. No judge should be sitting sitting up there with a gavel for their whole fucking life. Let them roll over and go back to being a lawyer. Oh, I'm sorry, we voted you out. Now you have to go back to making $500 an hour. That's terrible. But no one should sit in there. I think they lose perspective. The judicial system needs an overhaul, and I'm not sure exactly how to fix it. But I think just starting over from scratch is good and putting a lot more power back into the hands of juries and a lot less in the hands of judges who can interpret the law however they like to and apply it however they like to. That's a system, I think, that even though the lumber industry, I'll never understand it when you see to a load of a logging truck heading east with a load of logs past a logging truck heading west with a load of the same kind of logs. There could probably be a lot more efficient system built here somewhere, but I really think the judicial system needs to be looked at. That one in the especially the United States. And I think the United States is probably one of the best, if not the best, judicial systems in the world. But we haven't figured out how to make everything or make things to where the people who can afford the best lawyers get the best outcomes. Again, I don't know how to fix that problem, but I think it should be fixed. I don't know if you guys have ideas on that, or maybe you've never had any run-ins with the judicial system, or you've never been in civil court.
Replace judges with robots.
I think that's a terrible idea. There has to be a human aspect to judges. They have to look at their job as a human job.
Yeah, you have to remember that these are humans and human lives that oftentimes judges are affecting with some of the things they do. I know that maybe I'm asking a lot. I'm asking for a human to sit in a DUI trial, or where someone has made a terrible mistake and cost someone else their life, and try to wade through this and try to come up with the best outcome for the victim, for the person who's made a terrible decision. A way to make it so that the courts aren't clogged with civil cases that are really just one company suing another company, and tying up resources and systems, that really should be focused on making the people's lives better. There's a lot of problems, I think, in our judicial system, and I'm not sure how to fix it. I just think it needs a complete overhaul. And especially when it comes to drug offenses and things like that. Now, like the example I used with the DUI, I think that that's a terrible thing. If you're driving drunk and look, I'm drunk, but if you're driving drunk and putting other people's strangers' lives at risk, then you deserve what you got coming to you. But for the judicial system to be weighing in on what people are doing inside of their own homes, that I've got a problem with. And I think it's a waste of money and resources. One of the good things about this legalizing pot is those states that are doing it are really freeing up so much time in their court systems. Wow. So much time and money. You don't even know Colorado. The average citizen doesn't even realize how much money they're saving in court costs by removing those trivial and oftentimes frivolous cases out of their system and focusing those resources on cases and people that need attention.
Not to mention no longer filling prisons with non-violent offenders.
Yes, the prison system. The prison motherfucking system. Now,
at some point,
prisons.
Yeah. Go on. I'm sorry.
Star Trek has prisons. And that's my average. I don't know how you ever get to apart for some incarceration. What was the one that Trek and or not Trek?
Star Trek 5.
Yeah, like was it 5? They have the prison on the ice planet.
Yeah, that's 5.
That all right. That looks terrible. Don't like that. But those people, I think, were generally super fucked up. They weren't people in there like hammering away at 5,000-year-old ice and pushing mining buckets around because they had a joint at a fish concert. So I know there has to be some sort of prison system, but I think that, wow, we are using ours terribly. And you're right. What a bunch of resources go in to people sitting in prisons and jails for pot and minor offenses like that. There's so much to do.
I know. It's almost like an hour doesn't give you enough time to change the world, right?
No. All you can do is this surface shit. And you really don't have time to dig into the meaningful things that will hopefully push your society, our society, but push it to where you would like to see it, to that utopian future we all envisioned for ourselves. For our race. And I think all of us have some vision inside of us of how we could get to a good place where there's less tears and less sadness. And I don't know how to get there, but there's a laundry list of things. And you know what? This show is something I'm going to listen to. I want to hear other people, because other people are going to sit in this chair and they're going to posit ideas and probably have different places they would start, because I feel like the places I wanted to start, my first instincts were shallow and not important. And so I'm interested to see where other people might go and think that they could make the biggest impact on building a perfect or as close to perfect society as humans can develop. So I think it's a cool idea. It should be interesting. So I'm interested to see where you guys go with it.
Well, I appreciate that, Fane, man. You've been a great friend to me, and I appreciate that too.
That's pretty much why Dolphin started this stream concept.
The idea is to get more ideas, because here on the Brain Trust we believe that the only bad idea is the one that people don't say. And the more ideas you listen to, the more likely you are to hear a good one.
That's right. Actually, that's a system that I've used for years when I'm trying to come up with an idea, like to solve a problem or to do something, is I'll just start writing ideas down, no matter how fucking terrible or no matter how stupid they seem to me at the time. And I'll even ask other people for their ideas, no matter how terrible, and then put them all together in a big list. And then I'll pick out the ones that seem to be the best, most workable solutions, and hopefully get to right when it hasn't failed yet. And sometimes you come across ideas that you wouldn't have originally thought of, or would have just, cast aside as being stupid, but because you just put them all down, throw all the ideas out there. So yeah, there is merit to what you're saying there about, the only bad ideas are the ones that you don't express. Because you never know, man. You never know. And sometimes a bad idea will spark a better idea in someone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like you talking about socialism. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't resist. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of our hour here. So, Bane, I can't. It's gone too fast, man.
It has. An hour is fast. And if I didn't have to work at the fucking butt crack of dawn.
Hey man, I'm up there with you. I'm kicking my kid in the ass tomorrow. He's gonna make some coffee, and I'll be off to work with you.
Yep. Got to get that start that Keurig early. I recently put mine on a wireless timer. It's not a timer. It's a switch that I can activate from the bedroom by yelling, "Okay, Google, start the coffee."
Oh my God, you can do that?
I love it. Yes, you can.
You can do that?
Yes, you can.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I don't know
it's like the replicator, but not there yet.
Look, Google Home and Pat he's an Amazon house and I'm a Google house. And what we've done is we actually have gotten gifts where I was given an Amazon, one of the Amazon pieces, and he was given a Google Home, and we've swapped. And so, but the thing is, Amazon, I've had this thing for several years now, or these things, I have them all over the house now, but they'll send you these update emails. Always read the update emails because you can combine different things to do different stuff. And it's pretty cool. And yeah, it leads to a pretty neat house. I love it when my parents come to visit and I'm just talking to the house. And the thing is, what's funny is I'm sitting here trying to lead us to a Roddenberry utopia. And my fucking Samsung is a far superior product to anything that the early Star Trek series had.
Yeah. It baffles me. Like, you have more power in your hand right now than the people who sent the first men to the moon did.
Yes, that's right. And it blows me away. I talk to my house and it's more responsive and can do more things than talking to the computer on the Enterprise E. Like,
I almost feel like I shouldn't have gotten married. I should have just gotten Google. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this.
I like your wife.
Kidding. I like my wife. I like my wife too. She's pretty awesome. But anyway, that brings us to the end of our broadcast. I thank Sophane for coming here and telling us of his vision of what a world ruled by him would be.
I believe there was a judgment to be passed.
A judgment?
Yeah. Heaven
We're
or
brainstormers.
Has he built a heaven or hell?
You always have to go ecumenical. Every freaking time, dude.
He's built a paradise for some and a perdition for others. Or Alex Jones would lose his mind.
Well, I at least get my capitalist island, so I'm happy.
And the thing is, if you have someone here in future episodes, and at the end you judge them to have done it, and you can see no problems where it's good for everyone.
Okay. Then
you need to write a manifesto, because finally a new version of governing humans has been invented.
If we could do it, I would love to.
And hey, you never know, man. Somebody may come along. A young Karl Marx.
Oh,
No,
God.
no.
I prefer.
End the stream now. End it now.
Sir, I prefer Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. Thank you very much.
Anyway, on behalf of the Brain Trust, a collective group of people who think and expand on ideas and always want to hear yours and everybody else's, I bid you all good night and good luck.